Hey everybody, welcome aboard. I forgot to turn my microphone on. So what I'm going to talk about within this video, and its response to questions from several of y'all, and that is how to do whatever with the ATEM Mini Pro. So for starters, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add myself in the corner here, face on video, so you can see me while I narrate all of this, because this is, let's see, let me pop this up here to be just a second. And, ask all the questions you have, because this is my response to questions from many of y'all, how to, let's see, sorry, I'm just trying to turn this on here. But this is just a response to questions from many of y'all for, for how to use the ATEM Mini Pro, not just the ATEM Mini Pro, but also the, okay, there I am right there. And now I'm going to do the keying here. Let's see. Key source will be, okay. Well, let's see. I don't want to use a key. I just want to use, I'm getting myself face on video for this. And again, ask your questions, because this is an open Q&A session. So let me get this over here. Oh, there we go. Be just a second while I get this popped up here. Let's get it all set up. There we go. And now I can move. Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to bring this over, and this is the Atm Software Control. And this is a software that, when you control your ATEM Mini Pro, this is a software you use to control it over the network. So there's a few things you can do, and what I do right here, camera 2, which I identified as comp. Camera 2 is just it's an HDMI input on the ATEM Mini Pro, and it's plugged directly into my MacBook Pro. So it acts like a virtual monitor of sorts, so that I can share the desktop, like I'm doing now. So, everybody should be able to see ATEM Software Control here. I'm moving it around on the monitor that I'm sharing. So right now I'm just using, for program. Program is what your viewers see. So you can see program, I've got camera 2. So again, you're seeing on YouTube my screen share here, and that's because I've got camera 2, which is camera 2 on the ATEM Mini Pro device, running from camera 2 on the ATEM Mini Pro device to the USB-C port, which also functions like a video port on the MacBook Pro. But see, if I push camera 1 right here, now you'll see me face on video without without the screen share. And then I push program again, and boom, now you're seeing my screen share again. So something I do is I select from the output, I select camera 2. So this monitor that I'm controlling, the screen that everybody's seeing right now on YouTube, I'm seeing this full screen on a physical monitor that I have plugged into the output of the ATEM Mini Pro. So I can manipulate what I'm sharing on this screen, but it functions as a live view, meaning that when I look at this screen, you can see me moving ATEM Software Control around. I can control that as if I had a physical monitor, but it's confusing. So my only physical monitor in my studio is the physical monitor in front of me. And that physical monitor is plugged into output. So within ATEM Software Control, if I do camera 2 comp, then I see that virtual monitor full screen. And it's viewed it's displayed on a physical monitor. But if I go to multi-view on that same physical monitor, I see I see everything. And by everything, I mean the multi-view, which is a feature you get with the ATEM Mini Pro. You do not get with the ATEM Mini. So if you want to use multi-view, you're going to need to have the ATEM Mini Pro. So for me, you look at the ATEM Mini Pro versus the ATEM, and you probably question yourself, man, why is that twice as much? Well, the multi-view, when you've got this set up in a studio setting like I do, and again, subscribe to my channel, check out my ATEM Mini Pro video playlist. I've got a lot of videos, step by step showing you how I set up my studio, how I've wired everything, this, that, and the other. But this live event is just, in response to y'all's questions, because a lot of y'all said, hey, man, I use ATEM Mini Pro. And maybe you're like me and you use ATEM Mini Pro and also the Rodecaster Pro for your live streams. How do I do this? How do I do that? And y'all have had a ton of great questions so far, and I appreciate all the questions. And I wanted to, it's hard to schedule these things where everybody can be in attendance at the same time. So I just wanted to, on a Saturday when a lot of people are available, I just wanted to host this live show and try to answer any ATEM Mini Pro questions or Rodecaster Pro questions that you may have. Again, this is an open forum. So, ask anything you want to ask. Any question pertaining to ATEM Mini Pro or Rodecaster Pro is perfectly acceptable. I'm here to answer, as much as I can. So it's just a really powerful tool. If you're wanting to get away from the constraints of a subscription-based live streaming program. And again, I used a subscription-based live streaming program, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't a poor program. I used Wirecast, used it for several years. For me, there were some disadvantages with Wirecast beyond having to pay the annual software support renewal. The biggest disadvantage for me with Wirecast was that it is a piece of software. So what I had to do, I had to consume system resources on my computer to be able to use Wirecast. So like right now, while I'm doing this stream or when I do any of my live shows, again, this is a live show, but I'm just using this live show as an opportunity to provide a tutorial. And again, ask any questions you have, simple, complex, whatever. Just type within the chat area, ask any of your questions, and I'll try my best to answer. But what's so great about this is that if I'm doing live green screening, which I do for IrixGuy's live show and Epic Drone Show, if I'm doing that, the green screening, the chroma keying, all of that is controlled. All of that is being done within the ATEM Mini Pro. So it's not consuming my system resources for the live green screening. All the inputs, the physical inputs, I can plug in most anything. If it's HDMI and has, HDMI output, I can connect most anything to the back of one of the 4 ATEM Mini Pro's ports. So that's super convenient. And again, in my scenario, as I've mentioned previously, camera 1 is my face on video camera. So if I if I flip over here, now you're seeing me full screen face on video. This is camera number 1. When I flip to camera number 2 that you're seeing now, camera number 2 is my screen share. So this is this is a virtual monitor. So camera 2 is HDMI to camera 2 on the ATEM Mini Pro side, and then it goes to USB-C, as in Charlie, on the MacBook Pro side. So in essence, when I plug in the MacBook Pro, it goes to camera 2, although there is no physical monitor on camera 2. Camera 2 is just an input on the ATEM Mini Pro. So when I'm viewing this right now, while I'm moving this box around where I can see, where my mouse cursor is, I'm controlling that by way of the output on the ATEM Mini Pro. So the output on the ATEM Mini Pro has my physical monitor that's on my desk in front of me connected to the output on the ATEM Mini Pro. And a lot of people would refer to that as monitoring. You're monitoring the live show. So right now I've got output within ATEM Software Control set to camera 2. So camera 2 is full screen. But if I want to see multi-view, I would simply select multi-view, and then my physical monitor that's in front of me would not be showing camera input number 2 on the ATEM Mini Pro full screen. It would be showing the ATEM Mini Pro's multi-view full screen on the physical monitor in front of me. So this is, this stuff, and I know this explanation is probably a little bit confusing because this stuff is, until you've messed with it and until you've figured out what your workflow needs to be for your live shows, until you've done all of that, it's hard to understand all this. And that's why I'm here, why I'm hosting this live show, to answer your questions in real time. So, any questions you have, ask. I want to try to keep this as simple as possible. And by the way, this ATEM Software Control is a must. If you're using the ATEM Mini Pro, yes, you can use the physical buttons on the ATEM Mini Pro and do most everything. But if you really want to unlock the power of this and where this ATEM Software Control comes into play, if you go to Media, you've got the media that you can drag in, like your lower thirds, a PNG file. Like if you watch IrixGuy's live show, that I've got in the lower third, I've got IrixGuy's live show graphic. This is where you could do that. Also, if you were doing chroma key green screen and you were just doing the, you were using still photos for your green screen backdrop, you could load these here. These blocks represent image files that are available on the ATEM Mini Pro itself. Keep in mind, after your ATEM Mini Pro is power cycled, these images will disappear. So before every live show, you want to add ample amount of time to go in and drag those images that you'll be using during your live show in before the live show. So, give yourself enough time to do that. Why it doesn't save them after a power cycle, I'm not sure, but at least with the current firmware, that's how it works. Audio within ATEM Software Control is super valuable. You can see here right now I've got 2 mics, and this one's not active. You can see there's an on and there's an AFV. AFV is audio follows video. So if you wanted to turn on that audio source, you could do AFV, and only if you were displaying camera 1 would you hear that audio if it was on AFV. If it was just on, regardless of which camera you were displaying during your live stream, you would still hear the audio from camera 1. In this scenario, it's off. Camera 1 is just my Sony a7R4's integrated microphone. I do not want to use that because I'm using mic 1. What mic 1 is mic input 1 on the ATEM Mini Pro. Mic input 1 on my ATEM Mini Pro plugs into my Rodecaster Pro. So the audio you're hearing now while I'm narrating, this is coming from my Rodecaster Pro. Also, the crowd cheering sound effect you just heard, that was something I just pushed a physical button on the Rodecaster Pro. So, to integrate Rodecaster Pro with ATEM Mini Pro for powerful YouTube live streams, maybe you're doing Facebook Live, maybe you're just doing meetings, whatever your use case may be, having the ability to have professional audio, have sound, a soundboard for sound effects. With the Rodecaster Pro, if you've got multiple people, you've got multiple microphone inputs on the Rodecaster Pro. So you could have multiple mics, Rodecaster Pro end, and feed all of those into one microphone input on your ATEM Software Control. This software control is super important because if you're going to adjust these levels, which right now I feel that I'm pretty much optimal, I'm seldom do I hit red. I want it to be yellow when it peaks. I probably need to lower that just a little bit, but I've kept this volume setting. It hasn't seemed to create any issues, but if I turn on, so my camera 3 and camera 4, and I'm going to bounce back over to the main screen and talk about that. So camera 3 and camera 4, I currently don't have powered on, but in camera 3, I have an Apple TV 4K connected. And that Apple TV 4K, I just named it Video Share. So what I can do from my Mac's desktop is open a video file and do AirPlay to Video Share, and that'll play a video to camera 3. So that way I'm able to stream video from my MacBook Pro to an Apple TV 4K, and then if I want to, for camera 3, I could enable the audio. And if it was a video that had audio, I could do that. So, an easy way during a live stream, if you want to share a video with or without audio using an Apple TV 4K connected to one of the 4 ATEM Mini Pro physical HDMI inputs is a great way to do it. I've got a second Apple TV 4K connected to camera 4 on my ATEM Mini Pro. My second Apple TV 4K, I just named it Green Screen. So its sole purpose in my workflow is to continuously loop a high-quality green screen backdrop. It is worth mentioning, at least with the current model ATEM Mini Pro, you can load image files, and those image files can function as a green screen backdrop. Those image files of PNGs, for example, can function as a lower third, something that you've got with branding that, like you watch a news broadcast or whatever, at the bottom it's got the person's name, it's got the network name, maybe a logo. That's a lower third. You can do that. You can load that within the media tab. Again, bouncing back over here, the media tab of the ATEM Software Control. What you cannot do, at least currently with the ATEM Mini Pro, whether you have the ATEM Software Control running or not, you cannot load video files to this. So again, the way that I do it, I've got Apple TV 4K here. That's just my miscellaneous, hey, I want to pop open a video or audio clip and share, or maybe I want to share an image or whatever. Camera 3, Apple TV 4K is what I use for that. That's my sharing during a show. And again, camera 4, I dedicate that. That's just my green screen. All that it's doing is continuously looping a 4K, video backdrop that I filmed, and that's my chroma key, or more commonly referred to as green screen backdrop. So there's a lot of power that this device that the ATEM Mini Pro brings to the table. At least currently, the ATEM Mini Pro is not a it's not a pay-to-play solution. Meaning that at least currently they don't have a subscription. So you buy it, it's kind of expensive, but it's like most anything else in the video production or live streaming or audio arena, is that you've got to ask yourself, what is the ROI? What's the return on investment? So for me, it's drastically improved my production quality by being able to just plug in physical HDMI cables and choose among the 4 HDMI inputs. That has radically improved my workflow for live streams. Not only that, hybrid life. Welcome aboard Hybrid Life, man. Hybrid Life. We're nerding out over this ATEM Mini Pro. Just owed my subscribers. I told everybody I'd be doing a live question and answer session. So, yeah, we got a quiet audience here. So any questions that you have about the ATEM Mini Pro or the Rodecaster Pro, man, ask. I don't care. I'm rambling on and just kind of giving y'all an overview, but interrupt me, ask questions. That's what I'm here to do. Super chat if you want to super chat. Whoa, cheers to lunch. Oh-ho! There we go. That is how to get lunch. Oh, awesome. So deeply appreciated. That is a super chat, y'all. And anytime you choose to super chat, the sound of the super chat, and I'm I'm going to maximize this screen here so y'all can see everything in its full glory. So anytime you choose to super chat, this sound of the super chat will erupt. So, yeah. So this is, and you can see here I've got, and I'm going to demonstrate this as well. So I've got Carl, welcome, dude. So I've got this, let's see, let me share my desktop again here. I'm going to do desktop share. Boom, there's my desktop. So what I've got here is my ATM Software Control. And we were talking about the green screening, and it's, what's the word for it? It's, we're talking about return on investment, ROI. So, looking at all this gear, yeah, this was expensive. I got the ATEM Mini Pro, and you can find all this. Expand this video's description, and then click the link there, and you can find all the live streaming equipment like I use. But it's, it's like anything else. It's expensive, but, what I've realized now, I don't have to pay the annual renewal fee for my software that I was using, the Wirecast. I don't need it anymore. I can do what I need to do, and actually, in my opinion, better quality with the ATEM Mini Pro, and at least currently, and I hope they never add it, but there's no subscription fee. So it was, it was a no-brainer. And of course, when I got the ATEM Mini Pro, then I had to add the Pro Audio with the Rodecaster Pro. It just makes makes the kit complete. You gotta have, you don't want it halfway professional. You want it to be totally professional. Carl says, I thought you were going to pass out from blowing that thing. I tell you what, we get these super chats blowing through here, man. I may, if I get enough super chats, and I'm having to blow this thing for a long time, who knows? Those super chats start coming. You can start to get winded fast with this sound of the super chat. So, yeah, man, I appreciate that. And so yeah, we're gonna hop over here to ask any questions you have about ATEM Mini Pro, about Rodecaster Pro, about live streaming in general. This is my open forum to answer any questions that you may have. And if you feel it provides value, I mean, shoot, feel free to super chat me. Feel free to support me. Patreon.com/IrixGuy. Feel free to expand this video's description and then click the link there to shop my links. I mean, those are things that help me to support my channel. So, yeah, the green screening. So again, it is worth mentioning, at least with the current model ATEM Mini Pro, if you're going to green screen with video backdrops, full motion video backdrops, then you're going to have to have a video source, because at least with this current version of software, hardware, and firmware, you cannot load video clips. You can only load still images. So I recommend the Apple TV 4K. Why do I recommend the Apple TV 4K over a less expensive, older model Apple TV? Even though that at least YouTube currently, I'm only streaming in 1080p. I'm not streaming in 4K. Well, the reason I went with the Apple TV 4K instead of the older model Apple TVs is that Apple TV 4K, it can support 4K videos. So, I film almost everything on my channel in 4K. So since I've got those video clips in 4K, I don't have to re-export those to a 1080p resolution to use them with an older model Apple TV. For me, the spend for the Apple TV 4K to have the convenience of being able to simply stream my existing 4K video clips directly to the Apple TV 4K, it was worth the extra money to do that. So, having that is nice too. And also, something else I like to do, I don't, when I'm sharing video clips with or without audio, I don't necessarily want to share my computer's desktop or, anything like that. I just want to share just the video. And by leveraging AirPlay on the, on the Apple TV 4K, I'm able to share a video clip. Heck, let's fire up a video clip here. I'm going to show you how this works here. Let me fire up a video clip, and I don't think I have one with audio. Oh, actually I do. Yeah, I do. So let me fire one of those. Ooh. Yeah, so that was just my box with a bunch of video clips in it. So let's see. So I'm going to fire up. This is my IrixGuy's live show intro. So I'm going to send this over to, okay, so see, here's a video clip. But what I'm going to do is set this up. And this is when you join my live shows and you see and hear the video clip, this is what I have rolling. So again, as I mentioned, Cam 3 is my is what I refer to as my video share. I named that Apple TV 4K. I just named it Video Share because its sole purpose in my workflow is to share a video during a live show. And that could be before a live show, during a live show. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go into audio here. And see, you can see this, boom. See, camera 3 is that audio is jumping, but it's grayed out, meaning that I don't have it enabled. So I'm going to have to move this over here so I can see. Yeah, okay. So now you can see what I mean. So I can move it so I could see because I've got my monitor across the room. There's OWN and then there's AFV. So I'm going to do audio follows video because I only want camera 3. That's going to function as my intro clip in this scenario. But it could also be a situation where it's functioning as a, it's not an intro or an outro of my live stream, but it's something during the live stream. I'm talking about travel, and then I talk about, let's say Anguilla, insert tropical island here. And I'm like, oh, there's this really cool beach in Anguilla, and it's called Sandy Ground. Oh, by the way, here's a video clip. And then I would pop that up. Again, a reason why ATEM Software Control, why I feel it's so imperative to pair ATEM Software Control with your ATEM Mini Pro, and at least currently this software is free. All you got to do is have your ATEM Mini Pro on your network, same network as your laptop or desktop that's running ATEM Software Control, and boom, you got it. You can see the slider right here. I'm hot. See, that's red. I'm going to slide this down. I'm not an audio engineer, but from what I've heard, if you get it to where it's peaking at yellow and you don't have red, see, if I go way up here, you got all that red, that's going to sound distorted. So you want to adjust it. I got yellow. That should be good volume. I've got it on AFV, which is audio follows video. So check this out. So right now you're seeing my desktop. And again, I'm sharing ATEM Software Control for tutorial purposes. So we're on camera 2. Camera 2 represents this virtual monitor where I'm providing this tutorial for ATEM Software Control. Now watch what happens. I'm not going to click it yet, but when I click it, you will hear, you will start to see the video and hear the video that I'm continuously looping. Here we go. So I'm doing camera 3. So see now, even though I'm doing camera 3 and you're hearing the music and seeing the video from camera 3, which is my Apple TV 4K, you can still hear me talking. And the reason you can still hear me talking is because I'm coming in from mic input 1 on the ATEM Mini Pro. And mic input 1, I kept it on OWN setting instead of AFV, which is audio follows video. So I'm able to speak over this music and video that's playing. Now I'm going to pop back to camera 2 or camera 1, which is me face on video. See, now when I pop to camera 1, all that you hear is me. You no longer hear the music from the video that's still looping on camera 3. And that's because camera 3, as specified here, camera 3 is AFV, audio follows video. So when I'm not outputting camera 3, there's no audio being sent to the live stream. But if I put this to OWN, see, listen to that. See, now you hear that music, but you don't see the video because I'm just, showing y'all camera input number 1. But the videos, you can hear the audio from it, the music from it, because it's OWN. Now when I go to AFV, the music turned off because it's audio follows video. So the only way you would hear the audio from camera 3 is if I actually selected camera 3 to be the program view. Program view, what program means, that's what your audience sees. Now, there's more complex stuff we can do, and what I need to do is set up multicam in my studio so I can demonstrate this. So you can see the multi-view, you can see the physical ATEM Mini Pro, you can see how all the button presses create a certain effect, whatever you're trying to pull off during your live stream. But this, the way I was doing cutting from camera 1 and then now go to camera 2, which is desktop share, and then go to camera 3, which is continuously looping video with music, I was just pushing these physical, or they're virtual buttons, but you could push the physical buttons on the ATEM Mini Pro and achieve the same result. What we're going to go into in a future tutorial is how to utilize auto, or how to utilize the transition. So that's if you're on a preview, which is what's your not your live view. If you watch IrixGuy's live show, you'll notice that I cut in with the intro clip, which is me, that drone video that you were seeing, flying over the island with the music. That's a drone video that I filmed. I was on that island, and that's the clip that I'm running on my Apple TV 4K on camera input number 3. So I start out with that, with the audio follows video, and then as soon as I'm ready to go live, when I come on and I'm face on video, I then press auto, and it smoothly transitions me with whatever transition style I choose here. It smoothly transitions the intro clip into the into the live show view, which is me, face on camera with my full motion video green screen backdrop. So although this may seem to have a slight learning curve, which I agree it does, especially if you haven't had experience with live streaming, it's got a significant learning curve. But once you figure it out, it all makes sense. And I found it to be a lot less cumbersome than using, and again, no bad blood towards Wirecast. And there's also a program called OBS that a lot of people use for live streaming. No bad blood towards either of those. But I found that once I became comfortable with using this ATM Software Control software interface, and then obviously I can use the physical buttons on the ATEM Mini Pro as well. I don't use the physical buttons on the ATEM Mini Pro because it sits across the studio from me. But if I had somebody else in the control room, that would be a use case where you could have multiple operators, controlling if you didn't want to control your equipment being the host using ATM Software Control, you could have, someone off camera in the control room pushing the buttons on physical buttons on the ATEM Mini Pro. Likewise, you could have multiple people running ATEM Software Control software and manipulating, whatever settings. Maybe there's something that, the host would know to do at a certain time, but maybe when things wrap up, there's more complex things that, that somebody else in the studio may want to control. Something that's really powerful that ATEM Software Control brings to the table is it's called macros. And that's a topic for a more advanced tutorial, but basically you can create macros to perform a series of events so you don't have to manually repeat those button sequences every time. So, that's handy. It's just a really, really nifty, it's really nifty live streaming gear. And I mean, again, when you pair it, you don't have to, if you just get an ATEM Mini Pro, that's perfectly fine. You can put a good, in my case, when I started out with it, I had my Rode Wireless Go, which is a great lavalier mic system. And I just strapped that to my shirt and plugged it into my A7R4 that's connected to camera 1. You can see the audio on it. And then I would just use that as the audio. But since I added the Rodecaster Pro, with Rodecaster Pro, I'm getting studio quality audio and the ability to do sound effects. And not just the ability to do sound effects, but also bring in, a live caller by way of cell phone. There's so much in multiple audio inputs. So if you've got a big live stream where you've got multiple hosts that are on camera, you can have multiple mics, mic everybody up. This Rodecaster Pro has what's called Aphex, which is, it gives this audio that, radio type, radio personality type sound, which is cool. So you can become as creative as you want to with this. And again, the price, although You may look at it and you may look at ATEM Mini and say, well, man, that's about half the price of the ATEM Mini Pro. It's worth the extra money just so you get the multi-view. Because, and again, that's what I want to show y'all when I set up a secondary camera, so y'all can see as I'm explaining this stuff how how everything looks within multi-view. Because multi-view is kind of if you've ever been to like a studio tour, and I've been to Saturday Night Live, Howard Stern. I've sat behind Jon Stewart's desk after watching his show, and all kinds of cool stuff. And you go into those places. I mean, those are multi-million-dollar, productions. I mean, but the concept is still pretty much the same. You've got a control room. You've got multiple monitors. People can see, the people behind the scenes can see what's live at that point in time. What are the camera angles that they have available? What are the audio sources they have available? All that stuff in the control room. So basically, with ATEM Mini Pro, you're creating the poor man's control room. And it doesn't mean that it's cheap. It doesn't mean that it's poor quality. It just means that, for a few $100, you're able to basically create your own control room for your YouTube studio. And not just your YouTube studio, if you're using it for live streaming, for other purposes, collaboration with colleagues or whatever. Now, I do everything, including this, I do everything with the network connection from the ATEM Mini Pro. And that's something you can't do with the ATEM Mini. With the ATEM Mini, you can still use the network connection to run ATM Software Control, but with ATEM Mini, the less expensive offering, you don't get multi-view, which is pretty much essential in my opinion, and you don't get the ability to live stream directly from the device. So the fact that this has multi-view alone was worth it for me to get it instead of the ATEM Mini. And then the fact that it can live stream directly from the device was just the additional thing that was needed to push me to the ATEM Mini Pro instead of the ATEM Mini. But someone who would be the type of customer that would not need the ATEM Mini Pro. Maybe they would just need the ATEM Mini. Well, that type of customer would probably be someone that is using this as a webcam. So, maybe they're using popular meeting software. Let's say Skype, let's say GoToMeeting, let's say Zoom, Uber Conference. What are the other ones out there? There's I think Genesis, and then WebEx, and the list goes on. All your online meeting, you got a webcam, you got a microphone, you can appear face on video in a virtual meeting room. In that scenario, someone may only want the ATEM Mini. But and the thing is, with the ATEM Mini Pro, I can do everything the ATEM Mini can. So in that use case, what I could do is plug the ATEM Mini Pro in my case, or the ATEM Mini, you just plug it into your computer by way of USB. And then the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro is detected like a webcam. The difference is that unlike a webcam, which is basically just a little cheap, camera with an integrated microphone that's moderate quality, nothing great, with the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro plugged into a computer, it functions as a very high-end webcam. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of just having one physical camera, when you plug your ATEM Mini or your ATEM Mini Pro in, you've got up to 4. So each of those 4 HDMI inputs own the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro. You can switch among those 4 just by pushing the physical button. So maybe in a let's just call it a WebEx scenario, maybe you've got one camera plugged into HDMI 1, and that's a camcorder, just a basic camcorder that has HDMI out. The camera must have HDMI out to be able to send the video to the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro. So maybe that's on camera input number 1 on your ATEM. So if you push 1, you're seeing that camcorder. Camcorder may have built-in audio that may be decent. Maybe you've got that zoomed in on your audience. Maybe you've got camera 1 on a tripod and you've got an operator during your live meeting that's standing beside the tripod. And as people in the audience, the physical audience, for the meeting. As they ask questions, raise their hand. Hey, how do I do this, man? How do I do this? You know, maybe that person with the camcorder zooms in on that person speaking. So it makes the live meeting more interactive. Now, of course, after the question and answer session concludes, you know, you want the host face on video. So maybe camera 2, you know, it's a second camera, and it's pointed directly at the host behind the laptop, you know, and they're driving the meeting, or the host behind the podium. They're standing up. They're trying to look like a big shot. Hey, let me tell you about the next multi-billion-dollar idea, you know. Whatever the case may be, in that scenario, either ATEM Mini or ATEM Mini Pro would be acceptable, because really all you're using it for is connected to the computer by way of USB, and you're pushing 1, 2, 3, or 4 to switch among the various cameras. So camera 1 in that example was a camcorder on a tripod with zoom, you know, a physical zoom on the camera that somebody could, you know, zoom in on that person in the physical audience asking questions. And camera 2 could be the camera with audio on the on the host of the meeting. So, you know, and then that still leaves, you still got camera 3 and camera 4. Well, you know, camera 3, you could have that plugged into your laptop, and that could be your screen share. And then camera 4 could be, you know, whatever other type of HDMI device. Maybe you've got a third camera. Maybe you've got a second computer. You know, maybe it's a meeting where 2 people are hosting, and, you know, host number 1 wants to share their screen, but you've also got host number 2 that wants to share their screen during the meeting. You know, the flexibility is great. Also, if you don't want to use the camera's audio, you know, in this scenario, we had camera 1 and camera 2. You know, I had 2 camcorders with built-in audio, built-in microphone. Maybe that's not good enough. So in that scenario, maybe we put a microphone, a lavalier microphone system, plug it into mic input number 1, and use that and mute the built-in camera's audio. You can do so much. And in that scenario, you probably wouldn't even need multi-view. You may not need the ATEM Mini Pro. You know, you're using the ATEM, either the ATEM Mini or the ATEM Mini Pro, as a USB connected webcam with audio. But the difference obviously being that because it's an ATEM, you've got up to 4 video inputs, HDMI inputs. So, you know, cameras, you know, maybe a DVD player, maybe some sort of video source, whatever. You know, and then you got the extra mic inputs. I mean, you've got flexibility to accomplish whatever you're trying to do. So, and of course, it goes without saying, the value add of that, by being able to connect your own camera, obviously the camera's got to have the ability to export HDMI, you know, export video by way of HDMI, and a lot of cameras do. If you're looking for a specific camera, it does. Expand this video's description and then click the link there. You know, I've linked several examples of cameras like I use, but that's a common use case where you may not need the more expensive ATEM Mini Pro. But my advice for any YouTube liver, definitely go with the ATEM Mini Pro. You're probably not going to regret it. I mean, again, at the end of the day, and I hate that phrase because it's overly used. But at the end of the day, you know, there's something called ROI, which is return on investment. And if it's affordable for your business and it seems that it'll provide an excellent return on investment, ROI, probably worth it. You know, if money's not an issue, definitely go ATEM Mini Pro, even if you're not sure if you'll need the ATEM Mini Pro's features. You know, because if you're just using it as a USB connected glorified webcam now, what's to say 6 months down the road that you may not want to do more with it? It would be good to have that functionality already purchased. Again, ATEM Mini Pro, it adds the ability to live stream to YouTube and other popular sites directly from the ATEM Mini Pro. Also, it adds multi-view, which think of multi-view as your control room. You know, that's where you see you got a physical screen you set up, and you can see what's in preview, meaning what's not live, and then what's in program, which program is the view that is live. You know, people that are tuned in and watching your YouTube live or whatever. So ATEM Mini Pro is definitely where it's at, and I would highly recommend ATEM Mini Pro. Didn't have a lot of questions today about ATEM Mini Pro or the Rodecaster Pro. I guess, I tried to pick a time. I have so many questions from y'all, man, and seriously, keep them coming, because I'm always looking for future tutorial topics for the ATEM Mini Pro, and the Rodecaster Pro. And this video, or this live show, which will become a video that you can play back later. This was just a response to many people, and just kind of a, pull it up and see for yourself what the Atm Software Control looks like, and go through some of the basics. I wish I had some specific questions that had popped up, because I would have, definitely tried to answer them without hesitation. But this was just a, hey, try it on a Saturday and see what kind of bites we may get. So if you're watching this after I was live, because this will become a previously recorded video that you can play back and share later, and just ask, if there's a certain time you'd like me to try to set up a live show to demonstrate and, try to answer questions, I'll be happy to do so. That's what I'm here for, man. I use this equipment, ATEM Mini Pro, for my live streams. That's, number one for my business. That's why I use it. I've got to have the best live stream quality possible, that's easy to use and provides consistently excellent quality. So, that's why I use it. But the other reason why I use it is that, I want to create these tutorials, because I realize, especially now during the pandemic, we've got a much larger mobile workforce. So people that traditionally might have been in brick and mortar only, now they may be challenged with, remote work locations, but, just because they're remote, they want to provide the best presentation possible. And, that's audio and that's video. So, if you're some big hotshot and you want to look and sound the best that you can from anywhere, maybe you're out on your yacht, maybe you're a big business mogul, but you're just in some old junky apartment or whatever, you can look and sound good. And that's the beauty of the ATEM Mini Pro, especially when you pair it with the Rodecaster Pro. So, I enjoy this stuff. It's not just to improve the production quality of my live shows on YouTube, but it's also to, have fun. I mean, knowledge, that's the thing. Knowledge is power, and knowledge can also be recreational. If you choose to if you look at, if you're on the quest for knowledge, and there's a piece of equipment that you can experiment with and you can perfect, and then you can share those lessons learned with others that may help others to fast track their success. Maybe they're not as technically minded as you are. Maybe they're not willing to devote the time to troubleshoot. But if somebody else took the time to troubleshoot, figured out what it can do, showcased what it can do, maybe that fast tracks them to saying, hey, I need to buy this stuff. And if you do, again, expand this video's description and then click the link there. You can find all the live streaming gear like I use. If you have any questions, again, just ask. I'm here to answer any and all questions. If I don't have an answer, I'll tell you. I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth. That's just how it is. So, that being said, I've thoroughly enjoyed this equipment, and any questions you have, seriously, ask below. Even if we're not live at the point in time when you ask, just ask, because I do want to respond to as many questions as possible. Number one, it provides value for me. It challenges me to research a particular question if I don't have an immediate answer. Number two, it provides me with the opportunity to take the time to answer the question, but answer it in the form of a video that may not only benefit you, may benefit me, because I may not have known how to do that. And then once the video is posted, that video could potentially provide positive value for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, especially during the times of the pandemic, when we do have a much larger remote workforce. And we also have a much larger interest in what am I trying to say, in live streaming, you know, whether it's YouTube live streaming or you know, Facebook Live or whatever. You know, YouTube is my thing. You know, I love YouTube. I'm a YouTube addict. You know, I've been YouTubing seriously, you know, pretty much every day since, I'm going to cut that, let's see that Luma keyer off there. There it is. It's still there. Let me see. Cut that off. Nope, wrong one. Oh, here it is right here. Flying key. So, yeah, so I mean, I've pretty much been YouTubing every day since Google, you know, when YouTube partner program was by invitation only. You know, I've been YouTubing every day since then because I'm like, well, you know, this is an opportunity. And it definitely is. And it's not just, you know, getting on a live stream, you know, hosting your live stream, that's important. But it doesn't matter, you know, what gear you have, how much knowledge you may possess. If you don't have content, you don't really have anything to talk about or showcase. So, you know, that's why I'm always looking for content suggestions because, you know, it could provide value for you. It's something I can create, and it's something that can potentially provide value for tons of people. One of the most recent things, and I want to figure out how to incorporate this into my live streams, but I'm looking at it right over there, the Schwinn IC4. You know, one of the products of the pandemic is getting fat because, you know, you may not want to go into a small and confined place, i.e. a gym, and, you know, potentially breathe air of people that may be sick. You know, I don't want to get sick. I don't care if it's the flu or the whatever, you know, insert whatever virus here. You know, so for that reason, I've taken my daily workouts to, you know, to either outside if the weather's good or indoors with the Schwinn IC4. And that thing has been incredible because I'm sure there's a lot of people that use the Schwinn IC4, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my, and ring that bell to be notified whenever I post another video, but check out my Schwinn IC4 videos because I've got a lot of them now and a lot more coming soon. But man, that thing's been a rocket ship. I mean, I started posting those. People started asking questions. I've posted video responses to their questions. It's just really blossomed. And I mean, all it is a very high quality exercise bike. So, you know, this communicating with the world by way of streaming video is so important, you know, regardless of why you're doing it. As a YouTuber, as someone on Facebook Live, you know, as a professional that's trying to look the best and sound the best possible during a meeting, you know, show, you know, make yourself look better on video and sound better on video than everybody else. I mean, there's so many reasons to do this, but this was just, I know I've been running for about an hour, but I just wanted to post this because I owed this video to a lot of people. We had a significant amount of people tune in during the live event, and I appreciate that. And Hybrid Life, again, I appreciate the super chat. Super chat's always deeply appreciated. Again, that's just one of the many ways to choose to support IrixGuy's Adventure channel. You can also do patreon.com/IrixGuy. You can find that linked within this video's description. You can choose to shop my links, expand this video's description, and then click the links there. Or simply just subscribe, share, and help my channel grow because, you know, growth is so important. You know, without viewers, without loyal subscribers, I mean, these things don't work. I mean, you know, I'm an independent YouTube channel. I'm not part of a multi-channel network. I've been invited many times, but I never will join because I want to remain independent. But yeah, I mean, this is YouTube's an opportunity, and not just YouTube, but, you know, live streaming in general. And that's why this equipment, why I obsess over it so much. It's not just because I personally love what it can do. It's because, you know, the questions from y'all. You know, how do I do this with the ATEM Mini Pro? How do I do this with the Rodecaster Pro? How do I make my live streams sound more professional? How do I make my live streams look more professional? You know, how do I produce the best quality live stream? You know, there's so many questions that can be answered, and, you know, ask away. You know, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this live show because I gotta get on my get on my Schwinn IC4 to get rid of some of this fat. But I tell you, man, I've enjoyed that Schwinn IC4. So I got to do that. I think I may be doing an actual IrixGuy live show this evening. So if you'd like to tune into that, please do so. And also, if you'd like to be a live guest on that show, shoot me a message, facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I'll see if I can get you on the live show as a guest. Appreciate your viewership, and again, y'all have a good day. And if you're watching this after I recorded this, just comment within this video's comments, and I'll try my best to post a video to respond to your questions. Y'all have a good day. Let's see.